welcome to Nick Needs to Know. Get ready for some raw and honest discussions as I bring on guests from all walks of life to spill the beans on their career journeys, the hurdles they faced and the invaluable lessons they learned along the way. So let's dive into the nitty-gritty and uncover the good, the bad and the ugly of chasing our dreams and finding our way in this crazy world. In today's episode, I find myself at Hollingworth Lake in Lancashire, where I have the pleasure of meeting with Scott Stennett. Scott currently holds a leadership position at Sky UK, and as we take a leisurely stroll around the lake, we delve into his current role, early career experiences, family life, burning newspapers, and much more. So without further ado, let's dive right in and join us for this engaging conversation as we walk and talk. So I think anyone that's going to be listening to this one, they're probably going to wonder where we are because they can hear all traffic and noise and stuff. So where are we today, Scott?
Hollingworth Lake,
Yeah.
which is technically at the wrong side of the Pennines, but it's also pretty local to me. So I live right on border of Lancashire, if you like.
Yeah.
But as you can see, anyone that's been, it's just a really nice walk round. I always liken it to when I come here in summer. It just feels like you've gone to the coast for a day.
Seaside, it is a big lake, isn't it?
Big lake, you've got your fish and chip restaurant, your arcade, your ice cream, swans, boat ride. It's just a nice day out.
Yeah. And why is it wrong side at Pennines?
Because it's in Lancashire, isn't it? I mean, for anyone from Lancashire, listen, I actually don't mind Lancashire. My ideal place to live would probably live in St Anne's on coast, which again, it's the wrong coastal area, but
Yeah.
we do like it over there.
Yeah, I'll coming over past the famous farmhouse in the middle of M62.
Yeah, I think
It's not. Is it a myth that it's because he wouldn't sell his land that they had to build motorway around him, or?
so. I've heard it's a myth. So I went on to the stage of Googling it, and I think you were hearing from his granddaughter how you get used to the cars going past and it lulls you to sleep. But I think it is a bit of a myth. I think they were just building it that way. And in theory, I don't mind living in that house because there's a tunnel to get to you, so there's no door knockers coming through, you're too far away. Just put a gate through a tunnel, who's crossing 3 junctions to bother you?
You're not getting Uber though, are you, out there?
Well, no, you're not. Probably not getting a Just Eat either, but so you're saving money as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it is a bit of a myth. A friend of mine used to, every time we pass, they go, "Ooh, lonely man's house."
Yeah.
Like, why is he lonely? There's still a road that goes up.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, the
like,
house were there before the road, I'm guessing, so
yeah,
what were it then?
exactly.
Yeah.
So it is a bit of a famous landmark, that.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It's right,
You've got the highest point, aren't you, just after it, highest point at M62.
In England, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's always a nice feature to pass.
Yeah.
You always know you're home when you see that.
Well, I'm about 2 hours off home when I get to that.
Oh, yeah. I'm about 10 minutes.
Yeah. So we want to talk a little bit about what you used to do as a job. Not so much what you're doing now, because we'll get onto that later.
All right.
But can you remember your first ever job, Scott? What was it?
Well, I suppose it depends how far you want to go back, Nick.
Well, how old were you when you started working?
Well, obviously with me only being in my early 20s.
Yeah.
plus 20 years. My first job. So from an early age, where sort of like my upbringing, we didn't have a pot to piss in, to be quite frank.
Yeah.
So you learnt at an early age that the only way you were getting some extra pennies was to go out and find a job. So I suppose my first job would have probably been, I think you had to be 13 for a paper round, but the woman in the shop liked me, so she gave me one at 12. But by the time I was 13, I had a morning round, a Sunday morning round, an evening round, and a weekly round with my brother, delivering weekly newspapers. So I had a good work ethic from a very early age.
Early on, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll not get into me and my brother used to go around back at garages and burn the weekly papers because nobody were interested. But that gig were up after about 3 months. One person out of 500 complained that they weren't getting it. Just one of them pointless papers that comes through your door.
Yeah,
We're probably doing people a favour by burning them. But yeah, so an early age, and then my first proper job with my national insurance number, we're working at a timber yard.
Can you remember getting your national insurance number for
Yeah.
your little card? What did you used to get a
Grown up.
card? Yeah.
Yeah, little grown-up
Yeah,
JS mine begins with.
JK, mine.
Yeah. I can't remember rest of it.
Yeah.
You have to
Well,
look
I
on
know
your
it off
wage
by heart,
slips.
mine, yeah.
Oh no, I don't know mine after that. I have to look at a wage slip if someone asks me that.
But yeah, I think looking back, that probably is like a pivotal moment as a teenager, isn't it? Getting your national insurance number.
I didn't even apply for a job. I just got on my bike, pedalled round a load of companies,
Yeah.
filled in. I just wanted a job. I just wanted to work. I just wanted to get money. So I went round different companies, and I don't know whether this timber yard liked me or they just thought it'll do for £2 an hour.
Yeah.
So yeah, just got a job there, Monday to Friday and Saturday mornings.
And is this like a production line? Because we had a sawmills where I lived, and it were you wood going in, and then basically a fence panel would come out over end, or a cable drum would come out over end.
Yeah,
So what
no.
were you doing there?
I were in sales. I were dynamic.
Sales.
I were front of house. So people had come in on a Saturday morning, always when you try and eat your breakfast in a tea cake. So they'd come in, I thought, another DIY enthusiast. And then I'm 16 at this point.
Yeah.
So they come in and they say, right, I'm after some wood. How would I build this wardrobe? And obviously I'm looking going, I don't know, what do you need? I'm trying to be political. My head's thinking, why asking me? Do you think if I knew how to build an integrated wardrobe, that I'd be selling you wood at £2 an hour? You just wouldn't be doing it, would you?
No.
So we're like, what do you expect here? You want me to tell you how to build something, right? And I always remember, because it was quite early on, I was wet behind ears, and the joiner rings up and says, oh, I want some stoothing, which is quite common in that. I think I'd worked here 3 weeks. I went, I don't know what stoothing is.
Yeah.
Guy loses his rag. He goes, were you born yesterday? I'm like, what's going on? Anyway, it turns out stoothing's 3x2, but I'll never forget that one. Just the way the guy were ranting.
Yeah.
But it were all right. And then I thought, I can't stay here forever. I think, I'd been there about a year and a half. I thought, I can't stay here forever. There were a chap there, he were in his 40s, he was still pedalling to work. Not that there's aught wrong with it, but I didn't fancy doing the same job for 20 odd years and getting to the stage where I were having to pedal to work because money was so bad. So I left, went to work where my brother were working in a weaver's mill. So
Weaver's mill.
Yeah, made cloth for designer suits.
Do you feel that move was because you were fed up of where you were, and it were an easy way in because your brother worked there, or were it something that you wanted to do?
Right, 100%. It was nothing that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
It was purely based on. It was £3.50 an hour.
So for me, £1.50 more.
Yeah, for me. And they were paying double time. It was split shifts, so you would wake up like it was 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, and it was like these every other week and these weird shifts. So sometimes, and at this point, I'm not even 18 at this stage. So I used to wake up. I might have gone out with my mate. Said, wake up and think, am I working? Am I not working? You just be startled and think, is it day? Is it night? Is it Christmas Day? Is it Pancake Tuesday? What's happening? So I did that for a bit. That were all right, but it got a bit boring on a night.
Yeah.
Like you'd be there, it'd be 2 in the morning, And I were to. It was quite a steady job. When one job piece of cloth finished, if it were the same ends and length and that you just tie them together. It were a machine that did it. I wasn't literally tying knots all day.
Yeah.
But it were boring. I thought, this ain't for me either. So then, my mate, he says, I'm going to work at Butlins. And I thought, oh, that's a good idea, I'll come with you. So I left my job, and we trotted off to Skegness to work at Butlins, which were, it were kind of good, to be honest.
Yeah.
I got fond memories in little chalet that you were in. I think it were back then it would a pay decrease. It was 60 odd quid a week you got.
Yeah.
But you got your free digs and your free food. So, you know.
Did you plan on that being just a seasonal experience then?
I wanted to do that. That took me through to. I wanted that to take me through to being 18, and then I wanted to go work abroad.
Similar sort of thing, repping or?
Yeah, I wanted to do repping abroad, but because I would run over in a hit and run when I was younger. My sister was supposed to be watching me. I think I kicked off, went out anyway, and I was playing cuppies on the road with my brother and his mates.
Yeah.
And me and lad across road were last to win. I runs out and there's a guy flying down. No lights on, no insurance, speeding along. I get banjoed. But my saving grace was he didn't stop. He just carried on. So I sort of like, the wind sort of like blew me and momentum knocked me off the side of the car. But they say if he'd have slammed his brakes on, I'd have gone flying and probably not survived.
Yeah. So
I was out of it for a bit. That's why if I remove my beard, I've got a little scar.
Yeah.
I think my tooth came out of there. So when I was 18 now, I wanted to take my big wad of compensation cash that I got.
You got a bit of compo for it, yeah.
A bit being the word as well. But at 18, when I was 18, I was like, yeah, I'm loaded.
Yeah.
I became a bit of a loan shark at Butlins. In fact, with interest, I bet a few of them would be tidy compensation now if I were to claim it back. But so I got that money when I were 18. I thought I'd go repping, and then Euro '96 were on, so I just came back home. I was missing my mates. Did Butlins for about 3 months. Yeah, it were good. I thought I'd go back home for a bit, but then you just takes older. You start going out a bit, couple of holidays, and then it was like, I better get a job. So I went back to where I'd left to go to Butlins. Obviously, because I'm awesome, they had me back straight away with no questions asked. But it wasn't the same job. It was like, this was literally tying knots, and I thought, I hate doing this. So I went to work at my mum's spot. Again, just, I think it was like warehouse work and, just boring stuff.
Your mum's spot being where your mum worked?
Yeah, so my mum had worked there, yeah. She went, if you're not happy there, I'll get you a job here. So I went, 2-10 shift. That's horrible.
Yeah. Awful
shift. You can't do it when you finish, and you can't do it before you start because you're waiting to go.
Yeah, your full day's took up with that shift, isn't it?
Oh, it's awful. So I did that for a bit. Hated it. But I stayed at that company for 10 years, but not doing that. They were opening a new department at that time. So I got involved with mechanics building it, and then obviously started working on this new machinery. And from there, I just became like the team leader for the shift. And then we split into 4 shifts, so then I had to train new people. So I was a leader there for about 6 years. I had a team of about 20. So at this point, I'd made it up to like my early 20s. I had a team of about 20. Really good, enjoyed it. Realised I enjoyed working with people and bringing the best out of them. Even if it's just taking pride in the small things you do.
Yeah.
I don't think you can necessarily look for a job and say, right, I'm going to enjoy this job. I think what you've got to do is make the most of the jobs that you can get.
Yeah.
And find ways to enjoy them instead of waiting for the holy grail saying, oh, well, this job's awesome because you can do X, Y and Z. Just make the most,
So do you
take pride in everything you do.
Do you think your time, because obviously you spent 10 years there, that's quite a tenure looking at your pre-work history before that. Do you think that time spent in that one job can be attributed to your go-get attitude, or were the opportunities given to you, or did you go out and seek opportunities yourself?
No, so the opportunities weren't there straight away. So when I started with these machines, they did have a leader in, and it was just one day. Everything was just falling apart.
Yeah.
And one of the managers came around and said, what's going on here? Why is this done? Anyway, I think I lost my rag with him, to be fair. I just said, I said, they should be doing this, they should be doing that. This is done. I just listed everything we're on and how it'd be right.
Yeah.
That were at 10 o'clock in the morning. I was team lead at 11 o'clock. It was the weirdest thing in the world. It was like, actually, you've got a point. So I took pride in someone taking a chance on me. And I helped that grow and develop. Proud moment there where I developed a new work stream with them, which saved them £100,000 a year. So we used to have a Christmas do, and you know, when you're on stage, and it were like the idea of the directors saying, you know, how close we came to shutting down, and you know, this new work stream saved us X, Y, and Z, and it was just a really, really proud moment.
But it was,
and that I think that kept me at that company longer than I should have been. You know, because I felt a bit of an attachment. It was a small business to an extent, and it felt like a little small family, you know, so it was quite hard to leave.
But why do you say longer than you should have been?
Because I don't think I wanted to be in one place all the time.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. You know, whilst making yarn for carpets is alright, it's only going one way, and that's downhill, or abroad. So I knew I had to get out of there.
So you could see that at an early age then?
Yeah. And like spending a lot of time with my brother and his mates. My brother had jobs where, you know, he had a company car, he were in different areas. He'd worked for NTL, various different companies at this point.
Older brother,
yeah. And he'd started and he'd got a job at NTL, so he'd done it before, but it were always different contractors.
Yeah.
He'd gone doing other things, and ultimately he'd ended up back at NTL. And he says, why don't you come over? And I thought, well, actually, working somewhere different every day, you get a van. So I went over to NTL.
Yeah.
Their onboarding were amazing. They asked me what boot size I were, and then I got the job. My brother trained me. There were no official training. And I were out in the field, going into customer zones, fitting digiboxes and that.
Yeah.
It were all right. And then the same influence of my brother, he had a ding dong with him at NTL, and then he went and he'd seen that there was this company called Alcom, and they subcontracted for Cobra. So I think you can see where this is leading. He says, Scotty, come over. He says, you know, you're self-employed, you buy your van at 95 quid a week, a drum of cable's 50 odd. I thought, you're not selling it to me, but you get this, we'll do it, we'll be all right. He needed me because he had too many points on his licence. So, so I was driving a van, working with my brother, were absolutely horrendous.
Yeah.
Nick, you know me, I talk a lot, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm only quiet when I'm with my brother, and that's based on I can't get a word in edgeways. Honestly, he's worse than me.
I'd say never work with family, kids and animals.
Yeah. If I were doing something for a customer, right, I'd say, oh, yeah, have a look at that. He'd stare daggers at me and like look really angry at me, as if to say, we're going to be home late now because you've said you're going to help this customer with this, that and other. It were weird because, again, bad training. The training initially to install Sky, back then when I did this training, there's guys, I'm like, oh, do you provide drills and that?
Yeah.
And they're going, I don't care what drill you use, whether it's a windy up drill with your mate hitting it with an hammer. And I'm like, is this company legit? They had a skybox in the corner of this pub room where they were training us, and it wasn't wired up to anything. Like, well, what's the point in it being there? So I genuinely were going. So at this point, I was going out doing Sky with my brother. I had NTL at home, didn't have a clue how Sky worked, just knew the basics on getting it going. But it wasn't really feasible. I think me and my brother had spent a full Sunday in Bolton, and we'd tallied up, we'd made £3.25 each.
Wow.
So long term, it wasn't really worth it. When you took off the cost of the van, the fuel, the calls that you're making and all that, it just wasn't feasible. So I left there and went to become a tiler with a German man. Again, that were all right, but...
Does the German man have relevance, or could it have been any man? Or
it does have relevance.
Does it?
That it had a different culture, because
yeah,
he'd always say, I'm going to pick you up at 9, and then that'd be 11. And the relevance, I suppose, of him being German is whenever you priced a job up, because he were German and he had the accent, everyone said, oh, what part of Germany are you from?
Yeah.
And then the tale had come out that I'd heard 100 times or more, and his whole backstory life. So he talked for an hour and a half with me stood next to him or waiting in van about how he jumped over the fence, which were the Berlin Wall, because he was from East Germany. He just went on and on and on. And I loved him to bits, like, he's in Ireland now causing trouble. But he was just one of them characters that you meet in your life. Quite hard to explain. And obviously some stories he could tell you, probably not suitable for a podcast. So I thought, this can't go on. I thought, I don't know if I'm getting paid each week. He's turning up at random times. I don't know when I'm going to be home, because if he came at 11, we were working till 9 at night. So then I'd applied for Sky Direct, seen an advert in Yorkshire Post, I think it was. And I thought, right, I'll apply for that. I actually think I applied for that while we were contracted, but I'd gone 6 months tiling, and they got back to me. They got back to me when we were fitting a bathroom at my friend's house, to be fair. So 12th of March, I always remember, 12th of March was the time I started. I think I was meant to start 2 weeks after that, but they'd had a dropout. So I was literally watching pressure on a boiler when Sky got in contact. Family, where were I working when family came into it? So I was 19, so I'd have probably been at the company I was at for 10 years at that point. In fact, I was, yeah. So I'd got Butlins out at Way, because I'd done a fair bit at an early age, but I'd got Butlins out at Way and all that. I came back, I met Claire, and then in 1997, Brad were born. So
And is it just the one child you've got?
No.
No.
The fun didn't stop there, Nick. My second son was born, Curtis, in 1999, and then in 2005 my daughter Isabel. So Isabel turns 18 on 11th of November. So my duties are done, although they don't feel like they're done. I think it gets worse when they get older. They certainly become more expensive.
Do they?
Oh, without a doubt.
See, my three are still young. They're still all under 8.
Oh no.
Yeah.
My daughter thinks I'm a walking cash machine. I earn more now than I used to do, but I feel like I earn less by the time I pay her and all her outgoings. But you've got
less for yourself.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But it's fun, you know. I wouldn't have it any other way. Me and Claire still, we've had kids, we've still got a lot of energy, so we've got a lot of plans. And that's something else I'm proud of, Me and Claire, we've been together now, 27 and a half years. Yeah. And that comes with hard work and compromise, and it's not always plain sailing, but it's good.
So looking back at all your jobs you've had then, what would you say were the one you've learnt the most from, in terms of I don't know, your character thing? I know you're pretty laid back, funny sort of guy. You're tenacious, and do you think that's just how you are anyway, or do you think that comes down to the jobs that you've had or the people you've worked with?
I think it's hard to pinpoint, because I think you're always learning and you're always developing. But certainly starting at Sky, a big corporation, you did see the shift that things become more professional and more structured in a way. Yeah. And going in dealing with different customers, same way with NTL and with at Sky, that everyone's different, and I think you don't, unless you're in and out of different people's lives day in day out, even though you're only seeing a snippet, and you'll see this when you're on, that everyone's different, the beliefs are different, the way they live's different, the things they're passionate about is different, and it just shows you that you can't approach society, people, with a one size fits all. There's a diverse mix of people out there, and I think you've said it before, you've almost become a bit of a chameleon and adapt
social chameleon,
to respect their home, their personality, to make sure that you deliver that customer experience. So I think I learnt a lot there about loan working, and dealing with customers and finding solutions.
Yeah.
Often, which can hold you back further on in your career, is that we come from a culture of when you're on site, you've got to find a solution.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's support, but you've got to do everything you can to find a solution. And then I think that bleeds forward when I'm a team manager, people ring you, they're looking for a solution. And what you can't say is, okay, I'll take that away and set up a working group. But sometimes, further on in the career, when you're looking at projects and different things, you've got to do that. You've got to take it away, but you almost go into solution mode. And when I think of home service and all the plasters we've put on it through the past in fixing things, and we'll have a good workaround in home service, don't we?
Yeah.
And I think that comes from that engineering culture of finding a way to fix it and not relying on anyone else to come along and fix it, if you like.
Yeah. So you started out at Sky engineer.
Yeah.
Obviously now what you're doing is in a leadership position.
Yeah.
When did that transition come about?
So I was an engineer for a few years, and then I became a mentor, which I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I liked watching people develop and gain that confidence to go out on their own. And then I wanted a new challenge, so when the SE role came about, applied for that and were lucky enough to get it. I'll be honest with you, Nick, I think I scraped through the interview process. But scraping through.
Yeah.
I got my driving licence, it were a pass, but can do better, but all I heard were pass. But yeah, so an SE had various partners on that journey, which are now friends for life, both of them.
Yeah.
So you do. But I think the SE role is, if you're fortunate enough to have a great SE partner, I don't think it's the easiest job in the world especially back then when you were permanently with your partner, if there were a clash of personalities, it's not going to be easy, that role. And I know that from working with my brother, that I couldn't stand it, but when I worked with my SE partners, absolutely loved it. It were brilliant. But then, I can honestly say, I was happy as Larry as an SE. But there was this just unstoppable urge inside that I need to progress, I need to move forward, I need to do something different. And then in 2014 a team manager position came up, so I applied for that.
And was that your own initiative, or did somebody come up to you and say, look, Scott, I reckon this will be right up your street, and talk you into it, or did you just know straight away when you saw that position, this is a bit of me?
So before that I were seeking opportunities.
Yeah.
So I'd gone for secondments, I'd been chatting to my regional manager about opportunities, speaking to team managers, we're presenting at team meetings and supporting my manager and trying to help out that way. So I knew I wanted to. I think when I had it before, I felt at the old company, when I had a team, I felt like, I just want to do something for myself, not worry about other people, and take on all their problems that arise in a day. I just need to think for myself for a little bit and have a bit of headspace. But then, that's got certain rewards in dealing with people. So I'd applied for that 2014 and I got the role. And if in full honesty, probably we're hoping to be in that role for 2 or 3 years and then move on. But haven't as such up until 2022 when, because obviously one side of the business, our ACE side, which is basically the sales side when we get to customers. I've always been a bit passionate about that.
Yeah.
And I think it started when it first came out, it were like we had these wacky transferable offers and accounts, and it were quite hard to read, and a lot of people were struggling to understand what they could and couldn't do. And I just found that really easy to translate what it was saying into what we could actually do. So I think that's how I got into the ACE side of things, which developed into a little secondment away for a bit, looking at ring doorbells, such like, when broadband techs were able to add them. And then that led me on to becoming the department lead for the North.
Would you say doing what you're doing now is where you're getting your problem solving fix from? Because I think in a leadership position, it's more about coaching others to solve problems rather than you solving every problem.
Yeah.
Do you think doing this, what you're doing with the sales and travelling around and giving people advice, is where you're getting your fix from for that?
So yeah, I think partly just starting as a team manager helped with that as well.
Yeah.
So while there was a certain amount of problems you'd have to solve, there were also an art for when you were chatting to people, getting them to have a think and take ownership for some of the decisions.
Yeah.
And obviously empower them and uplift them to be in a position to go out and make the right choices, and and feel confident in doing that. Because what you never wanted to be as a leader were a babysitter, if you like.
Yeah.
Someone that just like, I've got a problem, I need to ring in. You're almost like, I loved it when someone would ring, rightly so, because there's an escalation to be made. But it's if I do X, Y or Z, this is what I've looked at. I think that's the difference to me than when I used to get a call and say, if that don't work, what do I do next? And I used to love the transition when I worked with people that did that, and then eventually getting them to stay with Scott, I've done this, I've done that, and I can't do it. And it's like, absolutely fine then. You've tried everything you can, absolutely fine. I'm going to take your judgment on it because you're the professional, you're on site. But I think that were the culture of the team manager position as well. Where, almost when you joined it had bled from, we need to get jobs in, and if we don't, someone needs to ring in and escalate it, and almost really enjoy giving that trust back.
Yeah.
And watching people develop themselves.
5 years, fast forward, what does that look like for Scott?
Oh, I don't know. It's a good question. It's one I think about quite often. I don't know. I love working for Sky. I love the people. I love the culture. Everything about it.
Yeah.
I've had a happy 17 years here so far. But I always like a new challenge and change. So I'm going to continue to seek opportunities at Sky, especially around working with people. Because the stuff I'm doing now, going around and talking to engineers and, discussing best practices and sharing ideas and just helping with the well-being and the confidence when it comes to ACE, which for some people they find it really natural, for other people they find it really hard. To be able to continue to work with people and, uplift them, encourage them, and bring out the best in them. I think that's what I love doing. I love working with people. A lot of people say, Scott, yeah, you're good with ACE, you know about ACE, but realistically I think it's probably, I think I get on with people and I can build relationships with people quite easy, and I've got a good memory. Yeah. And I think them two together are suited to ACE.
Yeah.
So
it does seem to be a good pairing, that. But what about family-wise?
Family-wise,
in 5 years,
it'll either be we've moved, because I kind of fancy moving out of Huddersfield. Fancy moving by coast, so we'll have either moved, me and Claire, and downsized because kids are older. So not many people at my age are thinking about downsizing. But we could potentially downsize. If it isn't that, it'll definitely be a camper van. And we'll be travelling all over the shop with dogs. It's like me, Claire and dogs, and we're fine.
See, I always the picture of you in a camper van travelling country doing your ACE sales course sessions.
I would have done as well. I think I did pitch that at once. It just saved them a fortune.
Yeah.
I'm happy with little things, honestly. I'd have warmed in water for a pot noodle on campus stove and I'd have been alright, pulled up in a lay-by. I might have smelt a bit, you know, doing courses if they want showers accessible.
Yeah.
But no, a bit of Febreze couldn't sort out. but yeah. But even then, when you do stay in you know, you're travelling and you're staying in these hotels, you almost feel guilty. So I don't know why I'm wired to pick cheap, nasty hotels, but I kind of get entertainment out of it. You know, when I see how bad they are, it's a tale.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers staying in a nice hotel. You only remember staying in horrible ones.
Yeah.
I stayed in a few nice ones as well, though.
Could possibly add to your repertoire of stories, couldn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think one when I were in Cornwall, honestly, it was like a haunted house. I did a little video for Sky Cinema in there. I did a brilliant video in Livingston, in a room with Sky branding on, but then it was too long. So I had to do a shorter one with an owl to wooing outside in a creepy hotel in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. Honestly, I still can't pronounce the town. Lancashire, I don't know what it. Anyway, the guys down there, you know, if someone like Robin Joints listening to this, he'll be saying it aloud, thinking he still hasn't got it right.
So away from work then, Scott, what do you do to relax? What do you see as a break?
What do I see as a break? I like running.
Yeah.
So I love that. I think it sets me up for the day. When I run on a morning, it clears your mind, gets rid of all that excess energy, and I don't know, I just feel more powerful throughout the day.
More of a well-being than a fitness thing then?
Yeah, so I think I make better decisions.
Yeah. I
don't eat all the junk food when I've run on a morning. When I'm not, I can go into free fall but so it's a constant battle. Like, I think in summer I was doing 4 10-mile runs a week, where now I'm probably down to 3 4-mile runs, but I'm trying to get it back up.
Yeah.
But there's always something that happens. It's like life just happens, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Momentum's on your side, and then something happens and it falls off. So for me, it were a trapped nerve, and then, you know, you lose a bit of fitness, and then you're battling your demons and finding excuses. Oh, it's raining, I'll go tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll start Monday, and of course them days never come, and you know they're not coming. And you don't always win them battles in your head, but you always have them.
Yeah.
But I won this morning, Nick.
You
I
did.
was out this morning.
You're
ran.
You're out walking around a nice lake.
Yeah. So I've run and I've got a...
Oh, you've run as well this morning?
Yeah, I've run and I've got a walk in, so I'm winning today.
So is running something you do even when you're not at work, or would you do that if you were a week off, let's say?
Oh, I'd do it more if I were a week off.
All right.
Because I get up at like 5:30, 5:15 on a morning.
Yeah.
Just so I can get out in the morning, get it done. So I'm showered and ready for like 7:30.
Yeah.
But funny enough, I only started running to get better on my bike. But since then I've sold my bike and now it's just running. But I used to cycle all over at shop, me and my brother.
Road cycling?
Yeah, road cycling.
Wow.
Did a few challenges, got a few good memories on bike, but it just takes a lot, like going out for hours on end on a bike, where a run you can probably smash in an hour.
Yeah.
So I like running, I like walking, sitting with dogs, anything animals, and just camping. Love camping. Don't know what it's like about camping, right? If I go camping, I could be near a fancy restaurant and it wouldn't interest me, because I don't know where I get the buzz from of cooking beans and egg on a gas stove and feeling that real pride that you've done it. It's just like, if I go camping, never eat out. Go on holiday, I'll eat out all the time. Go camping, no, I've got to cook it. I've got to get me. That's the best bit for me.
Yeah. Making
breakfast on a morning and a bit of soup and bread on a night. Aye. Last place I went camping, we were in Settle for a few days. Pitch tent, and I was happy as Larry, right? I had my feet up, I had a coffee, and I was just watching all cows mowing and rolling fields, and I thought, this is this is me. But that's how I came veggie though, isn't it? Did I ever tell how I came veggie?
No, you didn't, no.
No. So basically, my partner Claire, she was vegetarian when I met her, and she had a little blip for a couple of years.
Yeah.
But at this point, when I turned it, she'd been veggie for like 11 years. So then she was going vegan. So she went kitchen, she went about animal cruelty and all this, that and other. And me and lad are like, oh, stop it, man, stop it. So we went, I went out to work that day and I was coming down M62 near Castleford, and she'd been going on about animal rights, and I thought, oh, I hope she's not going to be doing this when I get home and I'm trying to enjoy me bacon sandwich. Anyway, I kid you not, Nick, I'm on M62, I'm stuck in traffic, right? I kid you not, I turned round, there's a cattle truck, there's a cow staring at me.
Yeah.
He's looking into my soul at this point, and I thought, that's a sign, that's the universe telling me something. So I get home, and I said to her, Claire, I want to be a veggie. She went, I said, for 30 days. She went, you said that before. I said, yeah, but I was going out for a curry. I says, so I says, it was new to me. I says, I fell off the wagon. Anyway, so I said, right, do it. She went, all right, I'll believe it when I see it. Because I used to eat like loads of meat. Anyways, I was doing a PDP with a lass in my team called Becca, and she turned vegan as well. So what made you turn vegan? She went, oh, watching Game Changers on Netflix. So I trotted off home. I watched Game Changers on Netflix, and there were some firemen and they went vegan for 7 days.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can do that, 7 days, how hard can it be? So I said to Claire, I'm going to be vegan for 7 days. At this point, she's laughing. And I thought, nobody told me I can't do it. So I lasted 18 months.
Wow. 18
months, but then Cadbury's chocolate broke me again. So yeah, but after that...
You got to have vegan chocolate as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
Anything dairy really, isn't it, as well?
Bourneville.
Yeah.
There's only so much Bourneville I could eat. At one point I made bounties. So I'd made like some coconut things and I'd coated them in Bourneville.
Yeah.
So I made my own like vegan bounties. So I were pretty good at it by end. But the problem is you break once for one little thing, and it might be a Freddo. Then Freddos will get closer together, and then you'll say, sod it, I'm eating chocolate. And that's how it starts, because then it's like, oh, but I'll still drink soy milk. And then slowly when you run out, you're like, well, I'm eating chocolate anyway. So, and you start telling yourself, and it's easy to go, to fall back. But then it was really easy to cut out meat, because once I'd cut out dairy and everything else, it were going back to being a veggie were a doddle after that.
Yeah.
Because it were, but yeah. Be wary of them cows on M62.
So Scott, final question. If you could give one piece of advice to any of your former employers, or former boss, or former partner that you've worked with, what would it be?
I'd say speak to my current line manager. She's got it nailed. But no, I think I've had some great managers in my time.
Yeah.
So, and I think I've learnt a lot from all of them. But thinking back, obviously I've been hit over the head with a 11-inch piece of wood by one of my line managers, but I'm not going to hold that against him. He did have he was just messing about. To be honest with you, I should have ejected video that day and just sent it to a tribunal, but it went 90s. What you're going to do?
Yeah.
But I think I did work with someone once, and I think it would just. My advice is trust.
Yeah.
Just if you've got the right people, just trust that the right things are going to happen. And I think that micromanaging, I don't think anyone responds well to it. I think you lose respect to the people, and also you become lazy in your mind because you're not looking for solutions, you're looking who do I contact for solutions.
Yeah.
So I think micromanaging can be quite dangerous, but I get that some people are wired to need to know absolutely everything. But then I think that comes, well, it might be organised to know all this stuff and, to know the intricate details of what everyone's doing at every minute of the day. I think you lose trust from them people, and you're not encouraging them to be the best and grow and develop. I think I had this. I was having my PDP the other day, and I got some advice from my current manager at the minute.
Yeah.
And it were like, I said, sometimes a manager might do that for you, but it's like, why don't you do this? And it's almost that encouraging you to say, you can do it, you can.
Yeah.
And it's quite hard to explain. Obviously, I don't want to go into the details and things like that, but it's just that empowering you to do it, and because it's easy if my manager would say, you know what, I'm going to send that person an email and we'll discuss this. And, you become lazy then. Next time there's an issue, you might ring your manager and say, oh, can we sort this out? And it's about just empowering the people to be at the best. What I spoke about earlier. In the field, just finding solutions for yourself. Yeah, there's support there, but making sure that, everyone feels empowered, uplifted, knowledgeable enough, given the right tools to go out there and do the right things day in, day out. But the trust is the biggest part of it for me.
Trust,
so,
yeah, that's a good one. Well, listen, it's been a eye-opener, that is for certain. Finding out that you used to be an arsonist with your newspapers.
Right, yeah. Technically, though, realistically, that wasn't my round. That was my brother's round.
So you had a right to burn them, really, didn't you?
Yes, but we shared it, so he'd give me half the money. So, in fairness, he was responsible for it.
Well, yeah, he's the more older one, isn't he? So he's a responsible adult. But no, it was good getting an insight into your career and your past and where you see yourself in future. Yeah. So thank you very much, Scott.
It's been good, and obviously anyone gets a chance to come to Hollingworth Lake. It's
a lovely
place. First
place,
time you've been, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and it's grey and miserable, but it's still a nice scenic environment. Yeah, I would recommend it as well.
Come back in summer, Nick.
Yes, definitely. Thank you very much, Scott.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit that follow button and join me next time for more chats on Nick Needs to Know.